So you wanted to get insurance, but you're not quite sure which insurance to get. There's so many opinions out there on what type of insurances to get. When you talk to professionals, they can sell you on the insurance they have. So which insurance is the right insurance for you? We're going to dive into this a little bit more in this video. Now, this is step 4 in my financial course on how to have a financially healthy life. You can look at the other videos that I have for that, but let's go a little bit further into this. Hi friends, welcome back to the channel. If you're new to this channel, I'm Jeff Bullock. I'm a CPA and an MBA, and this is Smart Money. I help people make smarter financial decisions with their money. Now, when we're talking about insurance, it's important to understand that you might have different exceptions to rules or different rules in your state, or you might have different situations in your own life that require more insurance or different insurance. And so you should do your own research. You should ask for other opinions on this and not just take this video for that. So it's always important to do more research, and that's going to be something that I'm going to bring up multiple times in this video, is just looking into it yourself. And that's the biggest thing with insurance. Okay, so let's dive into this. First off, why do we need insurance? Oftentimes we kind of get caught up in this idea that, well, they said I should have insurance, so let me just go ahead and get it. And then you get caught up in the sales tactics of, okay, let me get the best insurance out there. They are saying this is the best one, so let me just go ahead and get that. We forget sometimes why we even have that insurance. So just to specify, so insurance really is there so that in case something bad happens, something really tragic happens, and we have to now pay out a large sum, whether that's for a crash that has happened, medical needs that has happened, fire, home needs that have happened, and we have this large sum that we now are liable for. Insurance now can kick in at a certain point, especially if we don't have the savings for that, right? So it's just a safeguard for our finances. And that's why this is part of this course, the financial course, is as we are trying to build up this financially healthy life, we need to remember that there are some circumstances that might be too hard for us to manage, too much money for us to manage, right? If our house burns down, now that's going to put us in a very challenging financial situation. And so that's where these insurances come in. Now, as you are looking through insurances, remember that when you go to somebody for health insurance, you're not looking for just the best insurance. You're looking for something in case something dramatic happens and that your savings cannot handle what has happened, right? Something that will put you into a financially challenging situation. When you're looking for car insurance or any of those insurances, think about that as you're going. What's going to put you into a very challenging financial situation? All right, so these are the insurances that I would get and that I've looked into. There might be other ones that are for your specific needs, but these are the ones that are for general public needs. The first one is health insurance. Now, I've kind of already talked about this. Health insurance, it depends on your need. Your needs might change as your health changes. Maybe you have family needs. Those needs might change. So don't just go off of what your insurance broker is saying. The other thing is there are other things such as shared health plans. These shared health plans aren't insurance, but there are ways that you can send in invoices, and they have a pool of money that can help you mitigate those expenses. That's a way that you can get around these expensive insurance costs. So that's the health insurance. The next one is home insurance. Now, with home insurance, the biggest thing that you need to look at when you're looking at home insurance is that it is surprising what they don't cover. You should call in, ask a few questions. Do you cover if there's a flood? Do you cover if there's a fire? And what exactly does that mean? I called in to see, okay, does this cover if it's a flood? And they said it only covers if it's a flood inside your house that does not affect other houses outside of your house and is not from the outside coming inside. So in other words, if your street floods, they don't cover it, right? So getting that specific information down is quite helpful when it comes to home insurance, right? Oftentimes they're not going to cover earthquakes or large forest fires, things like that. And so you need to get that specific, and you might need to get additional insurance for your area if your area is prone to floods or fires, whatever that is, right? Okay, then the next one is car insurance. We know that one. Same thing, just look into it, make sure it's got all the things there. Life insurance is one that people find very, very confusing, very complex, and that is because there are so many different types of life insurance. But keep it simple. Just get term life insurance. Don't look at the whole life or any of those subcategories for whole life. The way that I say this is life insurance is good at being life insurance and not good at also being a savings or an investment account. Choose one or the other. It's kind of like getting a car that also is a boat. It's really bad at both, right? So get the car so that it's a car, and get a boat so that it's a boat. If you're going to get an investment, get an investment. Do not have your life insurance also be that investment. So keep that separate. So that's where term comes in. It's just it's just an insurance for if you pass away. And now the amount that you're wanting to get, you don't need to get a huge amount. That's what they're going to want with these insurance brokers. The more insurance that you get, the more they get kickback from that, or the more that they get payment for that. So you are only wanting to get the amount that you truly need. If you're a single person, this could be only the amount that covers your debts or just covers your burial, whatever the cost is that you want to keep away from getting on the shoulders of other people, right? So that's where that would come in. If you're married, you want to have enough insurance to cover for your spouse. If you don't have kids, that will be just enough to get them back on their feet, enough to cover, again, your burial, and then maybe a little bit for them to have a bereavement time. If you have kids, now you're trying to think of, okay, now how much insurance do I need in order to support my spouse and my kids? Is that going to include some daycare expenses? Are they making money currently? Are you trying to get it so that your kids are now out of school, out of the house? And so that's going to change the amount of insurance that you are going to need. And have that number in the back of your head before you talk to the insurance broker, because they're going to always try and give you more insurance than you are going to need. I remember, as I'm somebody who advised people on insurance previously, it was always recommended that we try and sell $2 million for anyone. And now that is a lot of insurance for somebody who's single. So that's where you don't really need that $2 million if you're single, or if you're newlyweds, you might not need that $2 million right off the bat. Okay, after that, you've got some of these other insurances, which are long-term disability. If you have your own business, you're going to want to have some long-term disability in case you're disabled, or maybe you're the breadwinner and you want to have that disability in there in case you get injured and you can no longer work. That can help you with that. The next one is liability or umbrella insurance that you might hear about. And this is if you've got a higher net worth, in case that something large comes through that you might get sued for, and you need to cover more than what your insurance would be able to cover, right? Your car insurance might only cover $100,000, maybe it covers $200,000. Your umbrella insurance could then cover more than that, and so that would be when you are needing, you own a house, you have a large amount in investments. This is where you'd get the umbrella insurance. And then the next one is that long-term care insurance, and this is when you're getting older. You're getting into the 50s, 60s. You would want to get that long-term care insurance, and this is for when you are older and you are unable to take care of yourself. You get a nurse that comes in. That's when the insurance will kick in. Right, so those are the insurances that you are going to be looking at when you are trying to get insurance. Also, along with that, this is beside the insurance, is the thought of also getting yourself a will. Now, I would recommend getting that will, especially if you've got money or children in the mix. Have that will set up. All of these things will set it up so that you can have that peace of mind. You don't have to worry about it, right? After it's set up, you don't have to worry about it. Don't get something expensive. We're not looking at large expenses. We're just getting enough so that we're not going to be strapped later or struggling later. And that is truly what we're looking for in these insurances. All right, let me know what your thoughts are, what I shared here. I hope this was helpful. If you found it helpful, please like and subscribe, maybe share it with somebody that's also looking at different insurances. And thanks for watching. Bye.